What is up, everybody? We are back again Friday night. It's just me, myself, and I. We are going to run this. Let's go. Another Friday night here at Collectin and Connectin. Let's get some people in here. Let's see. How do I... All right. We are live. Let's go. Trade deadline, live NBA scores, Super Bowl, and so much more. Let's go. Friday night. I know I'm looking a little scruffy. It's almost that time for a haircut. It's starting to get a little bit warmer in New York. All right. Let's see. Collectin and Connectin. We are live. Good vibes. Good vibe community. Let's go. Jump on into this live, fellas. Yeah. Let's go. We will run it solo if we have to, right? The show must go on, ladies and gentlemen. It's just me today. Collab. Where are we at? All right, we got about 8 viewers in here. How is everybody's night going? I've been looking forward to this all week. Let's run it. Me, myself, and I tonight. Well, me, myself, and you guys. So let's do it. Let's run. Let's soar. Let's have a good time. I'm going to share this to one more account of mine. Let's do it. Just going to share this one more time and we will officially get started. Friday night fun. Let's go. How's everybody doing? We got a bunch of eyes on us. Let's go. I'm going to repost it. Once we get 10 live viewers, we'll start. I think that's enough of a crowd. Not that you guys are irrelevant, but let's go. Yes, sir. Shout out to Paulie, who sets this platform up. Okay. Let's do it. Just give me one quick second. All right. All right, welcome everybody. Friday night, collecting and connecting. It's about 8:40 p.m. here in New York. I'm here to just talk your guys' ear off for maybe, an hour or so. Let's see how it goes. I want to try some new things. I want to talk to you guys. There's a bunch of things that are going on. So of course we got the NBA trade deadline that just passed. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Super Bowl, obviously, with the Super Bowl being in 2 days. Like, oh my God, the NFL season is almost over. And then we're gonna do a collectible of the stream because, as you guys know, this is Collectin and Connectin, presented to you by a different conversation. We're always gonna try some new things every week, and we're gonna get through this. We're gonna get done with this. So, with that being said, without further ado, I am Thomas Saxby. I run a different conversation, which is a podcast / show setting. Why don't you guys go and check us out on our YouTube? We're everywhere, but mainly our shows come out on YouTube besides our audio episodes. So make sure you go check us out. Make sure you guys subscribe to Collectin and Connectin. Get in tune with the Discord because they are always running giveaways. Shout out to Paulie who set this up for all of us streamers to come on here, collab with one another, and give you some great content. So with that being said, let's look into some NBA scores. Let me pull up NBA.com and let's get this going. Let's get this jumping. Let's get this started. I can already see the Pistons are putting a beat down on the Knicks. That is never good. My God. Okay. Let's see. Let me share my screen now. Share screen. NBA games. All right. How's that looking? Okay, so yeah, the Miami Heat are absolutely beating the brakes off of the Boston Celtics. I find that interesting that this is going to open the show. I think we should start the NBA trade deadline off, with that topic of the Miami Heat, the only team that did not make a trade during the trade deadline. They are beating the Celtics by 20 here. I'm looking into it. It seems like it's Jaylen Brown, and he ain't getting no help. Norman Powell, who was a hell of an addition to this Miami Heat team. Him and Wiggins are doing their thing, both with 15 and 17 points. Khalil Ware still with the lowest amount of minutes on the Miami Heat. That's been a trending topic with those guys. I find it interesting. So, if we want to start the topic off with the Miami Heat, they had the opportunity to trade for Ja Morant. So the trade that was presented to them for Ja Morant was Khalil Ware or Jaime Jaquez with a first with Terry Rozier for Ja Morant, and they didn't take that. And I find that utmost interesting because if you're not going to play Khalil Ware, why don't you just let him go in that trade? Why not just let him go? I mean, Jaime Jaquez, I understand keeping him because he does everything. He can pass, he can shoot, he can rebound the ball, he can give you some good defense, give you a lot of energy off the bench. Khalil Ware, you kind of just refuse to use him. He's a good player. I in my eyes, I truly see Khalil Ware as a good basketball player. But if you're not going to use him, why wouldn't you just trade him for Ja Morant? You know what I'm saying? Like Davion Mitchell, for example, he got 1 point, 5 assists. That's all cool, but you want a little bit of scoring at that position along with the IQ, and I think he would have fit in there perfectly. Davion Mitchell as the guy who can do the same thing off the bench with defense. It would have just worked. It would have worked so perfectly for this team. But instead, they're deciding to go. Tyler Hero is still not playing. What is the status update with Tyler Hero? Not traveling for the road trip. So this guy's just been hurt all year, letting them down. Now it's a rib injury. Not accompanying team on their road trip. Won't be playing Friday or Sunday. There hasn't been no positive update on him. He's been doubtful like every game. So we'll see what happens when Tyler Hero comes back. That's like the saving grace for the Heat. If Tyler Hero comes back and they actually can, put together some chemistry, I like this Miami Heat team, but not doing anything at the trade line when you have all these assets. You're not playing Khalil Ware. You have Kasparis, Jovic that you're not playing anymore. These guys should have been packaged together and traded away. Maybe teams don't find them, valuable individually, but together with maybe a pick or two, the Heat probably could have gotten a lot more out of this without affecting any of this going on, in the middle. But we'll see what happens. And the Boston Celtics, they're struggling. They did get Vucevic, who's coming off the bench in this game for whatever reason. So we'll see what happens there. Derek White, two for 11, not looking that good so far in this game here. He's been struggling with his shot as of late. But at the end of the day, the Celtics have been winning, so there hasn't been much spotlight on that as well. Now the Knicks, man, my New York Knicks are getting absolutely trashed. What is up, Lee Tran in the chat? But when it comes to the New York Knicks, man, we're getting squashed. And I can guarantee you, I'm gonna open this, right? Bridges, he got 15 points, but I bet you I'm gonna open this, and Karl Anthony Towns is doing absolutely trash. How much do you guys want to bet? Seahawks are winning. Everyone thinks that the Seahawks are winning. Okay, we will definitely talk about that soon. Now with the Knicks, I bet you Cat's not even playing. That goes to show you I should pay a little bit more attention. Cat's not even playing. Brunson is 2 for 13. That is nasty. Josh Hart's 1 for 7. That is also nasty. Landry Shamet 2 for 7. Looks like Jordan Clarkson getting some minutes here, which is that's cool. Huckporty getting some minutes. OG not playing tonight. And then of course Alvarado not playing yet. And then for the Pistons, it seems like it's a team effort. Dennis Jenkins is killing the Knicks right now. Dennis Jenkins. He's actually been, pretty decent over the last couple of games. But Dennis Jenkins, weird that the Pistons are getting beat up by the Wizards last night, but blow out the Knicks tonight. Absolutely. Oh my God, absolutely, yes. The Knicks, I don't know. It's weird. I don't know really what it's going to take. I mean, they look good. They don't look good. We'll absolutely see. It seems like a lot of people want to talk about the Super Bowl. Keep dropping in the comments who you guys think are going to win. Seattle Seahawks, New England Patriots. I think a lot of people are going with the Seahawks. But I think, people got to remember when it comes to the New England Patriots, they have a fantastic defense that I think can absolutely make Sam Darnold choke. So I think it'll be interesting. I think both defenses are going to show up. And I will see what happens. The Patriots, it almost feels like they're playing with house money, right? Drake May is, he's 22. He's still, pretty young. One of the youngest guys ever in Super Bowl history. I think he's the second youngest to be starting a team in the Super Bowl. It seems like, with Mike Vrabel being there for a few years, moving forward, seems like they ain't got nothing to lose. But at the same time, all these people are doubting the Patriots. Drake May didn't get MVP. Everybody is, just counting the Patriots out like they have all season. I think it'll be interesting. I mean, I think the Patriots are going to show up. I think, they're all battle tested. They've been facing some of the top defenses already. I would not be surprised, people out there, if the New England Patriots do pull out this victory. And there you go. There's a little bit of, tidbits on the Super Bowl for all you guys that came and jumped in talking about the Patriots and the Seahawks. So, we got the Pacers and the Bucks. Probably a game that nobody's watching tonight. Siakam doing his thing as always. The Milwaukee Bucks. I forgot Obi Toppin is still a Pacer. The Milwaukee Bucks. Kevin Porter is back and he is looking decent. I mean, the Bucks have a decent team. I mean, if Giannis does come back and they can slide into a play-in spot, it's not like they're a team you could easily pass over. I really don't think when it comes to Giannis, it's just about being healthy in the playoffs. He hasn't been healthy all the time in the playoffs. And when he is healthy, he gives teams runs for their money. I can see it's the East. I can see a lot of things happening when it comes to that. His experience is what worries me, Drake May, but definitely think it's going to be a close game. Well, I think about it like this. When it comes to Drake May, you can't put up any worse games than he's really done in the past couple. I don't think that Drake May is going to be out here, trying to throw bombs or trying to take risks. I think he's going to keep playing it safe. And I think that's ultimately going to benefit the Patriots. I think there'll be a lot of field goals. Basically, what I'm telling you is I don't think the Super Bowl is going to be fun. I think both defenses are going to show up. And I think Drake May and the Patriots do make a couple of big plays towards the end, whereas I think Sam Darnold is going to see ghost. I don't know, man. There's something about Sam Darnold and the Seahawks that I don't trust, but we're going to find out. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm full of sugar honey iced tea. But I think call me crazy. I think the Patriots are taking this game, and I could be the only one in the world saying that, but something don't feel right about these Seahawks. And yeah, that is and welcome in Sweetheart Pro Wrestling. A good Friday night viewer every week. Yeah, Super Bowl is rarely fun. I mean, I I guess I can agree with that. And then yeah, so Darnold is either really good or really crap. And I mean that's the kind of the thing with Sam Darnold is that the Seahawks were 14-3, the best record in the NFC, and Sam Darnold wasn't in the MVP conversation. The reason why he wasn't in the MVP conversation is he still has some terrible, terrible games. He still has that in him. I don't think he's gonna rise to the occasion. Maybe Drake May doesn't either, but Sam Darnold, I just don't think he's gonna rise to the occasion. I think they got a lucky draw of getting the Rams when their defense absolutely fell apart and collapsed. They've been having it easy. They've been absolutely destroying everybody. I understand that. But when it comes to this one game, I don't I don't know. I just don't see it. I absolutely and it's more of a feeling than it is anything I could tell you like this player is better than that player. I just think the Patriots defense is going to show up. I think Mike Vrabel is going to have them ready to run through a wall, and I think they're going to give it their 110% effort. And I truly see them, coming out with a victory. And who knows? Maybe Robert Kraft and Belichick, maybe the Patriots organization, maybe they sacrificed their Hall of Fame first ballots Robert Kraft did so that the Patriots can win this Super Bowl. Maybe, just maybe that's the conspiracy that's going on here. Pay attention to that. If the Patriots beat the Seahawks, maybe it's conspiracy that Robert Kraft sacrificed his own and Bill Belichick's first ballot Hall of Fame selection so the Patriots could win. I'm absolutely tripping. I don't actually believe that, but fun things to think of here on Collectin and Connectin. So we have the Timberwolves and the Pelicans. The Pelicans, they got some talent out there. They're doing whatever, but not really too much of a game that we really want to talk about too much. So just give me one moment. How are we feeling out there on Friday night? We filmed an episode today that will be coming out tomorrow over on a different conversation. So, like I said, make sure you guys tune into that. All right. Let's see. So yeah, I kind of wanted to do something interesting today. I wanted to do a collectible of the stream. So what I did is, and I had, I'm a bot. I had ChatGPT help me out with it. So I wanted to randomly generate any collectible, and what ChatGPT generated for me was comic books. So for the next, maybe 20 minutes, let's talk about some comic books. Let's look at where they are in the world. Maybe we can find something here. Let's go to Google. Let's see what's the highest valued comic book right now. Let's make a segment out of this. So yeah, because there's some comic books out there that are crazy. So the top 3 most expensive comic books. First off, when it comes to comic books, what a classic, right? Like them classic covers and everything about them. I have in my glass case out there, I have a ton. I have a big stack. I have one of the first one of my prized possessions is one of the first editions of the Civil War comic book, which I love because growing up as a kid, seeing that come out in the movies was absolutely insane, right? Playing it, the Ultimate Alliance 2 focuses on Civil War. So Civil War is one of my favorite stories, told, the Avengers going at it, Marvel just, characters going at it. And I think they did tell it decently well in the movies. Do I personally agree with Winter Soldier and Captain America jumping Iron Man? Not necessarily. But let's look at some comic books. Let's see what are the most expensive ones. My personal favorites besides Civil War is I love the X-Men. As a comic, as a cartoon, as a video game, X-Men has been my cup of tea. So let's see here. Well, what are some of the most expensive ones here? So most expensive comic books in history. More fun comics, DC. That was a fun little series. Okay. Weird Tales 1949. Some of these be old too, which is so crazy that comic books have come, the long way that they did. It's like it's interesting lore. Punch Comics 28. Yeah, see, like, I mean, some of these go for so like $200,000 for a comic. If you're not collecting, I don't know what you're doing. There's so much money in collecting because there's people out there that'll just pay top dollar for a lot of random things. More fun, yeah. Like these more fun comics were such classics in the 1940s. They got a good documentary out about that if you want to check something out. Ghost Rider. I love Ghost Rider. I wonder when they're gonna actually adapt something decent for Ghost Rider. I wonder when Marvel's actually gonna do that. And for those of you joining, we're talking comic books for a little bit. We're expanding on the collecting theme. We'll jump back into sports. Don't worry about that. Wiz Comics. I'm sure Paulie loves Wiz Comics. Detective Comics here. Let's jump to the top 5. What do you guys think here? So number 7 at $2 million is the original Fantastic Four. Love the movie that they just came out with. But yeah, no, this comic, for being in 1961, it was a really good comic as well. I loved the Fantastic Four comic books growing up, those specifically, along with X-Men. Batman, I didn't get too much into, but I get it. Batman number 1 at 6 with 2 million. If I had to predict a top 5, I think we're gonna see an Avengers. I believe the original Superman should be in the top 5. What else do we? I think the original X-Men absolutely would be in the top 5. I'm thinking 2 Spider-Mans, one Avengers, one X-Men, one Superman. Let's see. Number 5. Okay, Marvel Comics. Timely Comics number 1, basically the comic that launched the Marvel universe. Okay. I forgot all about this one. $2.4 million, and to get it at a 9.2 grade as well as a comic is insane. All right, number 4. Okay, Captain America number 1. That one with Spider-Man was in that as well. Okay, $3.1 million, fair enough. Okay, so number 3, Amazing Fantasy. Okay, maybe they had that wrong there. Amazing Fantasy 1962, $3 million. What comic books do you guys have? If there's anyone out there listening to me ramble, post what comic books that you have. I knew this one would be on the list, as well as Spider-Man, Superman number 1. This picture right here. If I could open this in a new tab and maybe zoom in. I wonder if this does anything. Like this picture right here is a classic. Like this picture I think about when I think of comics. I have the duplicate. I don't have any originals, anything like that of this, but I do have a couple duplicates of this one. And then okay, number 1 Action Comics DC. So basically the first DC comic. Okay. $6 million in 2024. That's insane. $6 million. Imagine just happening to have this. It's great. And that's what that's what collecting is all about. Man, so yeah, comic books. Do they still 1 second. Next there's actually new comics that still come out. Okay. Hmm. Interesting. Only $5 a pop these days. You never know what could come out and be, what could pop out. You just never know. And these are only $4, $3. This is all the new comic books that are coming out. Probably a lot of like republishings of some of the olds, I would imagine. I don't think there's a lot of people writing new comics these days. I imagine it would be hard with everything that's happened. Maybe there's some people out there that are, creative enough for this. I tried to write a comic back in my day. It did not go good. I tried to write a comic about how Harriet Tubman and Abraham Lincoln came back to life. And they basically just ran the world. That was the comic I tried to write. Did not go well. Never tried to make a comic ever again. But this is interesting to still see, like, because a lot of these just released on February 4th. So I wonder, Superman and Spider-Man. Doctor Doom? What the heck? 4.3 rating? When did this happen? When did any of this happen? All right. So I'll stop talking about comics, but that we'll stick with that there. I want to talk about some NBA trade deadline. If you know, for those of you viewers that are out there, comment what you guys, what was your biggest trade? What's a trade you want me to break down? Let's do the top 10 NBA trades from the NBA trade deadline. Okay, 1 second here. Okay. So let's share screen. All right. So the first one, so Zubac got traded to the Pacers. How do we feel about that one? I think the Pacers, they're rolling the dice here, like the headline says. They're rolling the dice, but Zubac is still he's 28, but they're getting a good guy. I mean, for everything that they're trying to do, so Tyrese Halliburton is out, and they basically, for whatever reason, they decided to punt the year. I mean, I'm surprised that there's not any real tank allegations, coming out right now when it comes to Tyrese Halliburton or well, not Tyrese Halliburton, but when it comes to the Indiana Pacers, because you're like, we saw in the playoffs last year that Tyrese Halliburton was not the only thing that kept this team going. Like on some nights it was Neesmith, some nights it was Nembhard, some nights it was Siakam, but there was nights that they were surviving with no production from Halliburton. So to go from this, and I don't even care about Miles Turner, he's a non-factor here, but when we go from what we saw last year to what we're seeing this year, I think they're definitely punting this year, waiting to make sure Tyrese Halliburton comes back. And now they're going to get Zubac and still have their pick if it falls in between 1 and 4 and then 10 and on, which I thought was cool. Because if for whatever reason they fall 5 through 9, it just is what it is. But if they keep losing games, which I imagine they're going to plan on doing so, they're going to have a team of Tyrese Halliburton, Nembhard, Neesmith, Siakam, and Zubac, and that is a scary team. Plus a high draft pick, plus all the random depth that they have. And I think that is a much more upgraded. It's like just Zubac over Miles Turner alone is ridiculous. And the Pacers, they're going to be here to stay for a little bit. I don't agree with them really trading Benedict Mathurin, but if you're going to do it, you might as well get it for one of the best centers in the league who's been very consistent. My guy Kem, also on the show, he loves Zubac. He said he was like a top 5 center last year, and the take grows day by day by day. The Bucks, they kept Giannis. I don't know. I mean, it's tough because you respect the loyalty, you respect a player staying with a franchise. You just don't, kind of respect. And it's not like the Bucks haven't tried. Like they had Dame Lillard. They did what they could this off season with their limitations. I think they'll try even more moving forward. They even almost tried to get Ja Morant. But at the end of the day, Giannis is staying. He's probably going to end up missing the rest of the year. They're probably going to tank this year away. But in the summer, there's going to be a lot more talk when it comes to this Giannis thing. And I think just the more that he stays a Buck and the more that they can put a team around him to win, the more that they are going to thrive. I don't know what players go there. I don't know at this point what the Bucks do to put a team around him. But I think that the beauty of the situation is they're seeing a lot of their depth and they're seeing a lot of their youth actually do some things here. So at the end of the day, I actually, I love this. I love that they're staying together. I don't love it for the Miami Heat because they tried to, pay everything for Giannis and it just didn't work out. But Giannis staying a buck. We'll see about that. Rob Dillingham, he went on over to he's an Atlanta Hawk now, right? Or no, he's a Chicago Bull. My apologies. He went to the Bulls. Don Sumo went to the Timberwolves. And I mean, I don't know. It stinks because, Rob Dillingham was supposed to be a lot better of a player than this. Now, basically, they kind of just let him go. I don't think he was the deal breaker for the Bulls, but I think the Bulls are going to use him, which is what he needs. He needs minutes. He's, stuck and trapped behind a few different players. But at the end of the day, I really feel like he could have been more with Minnesota. I think that was a missed opportunity on them. And I'm hoping, that he goes to the Bulls and kind of just makes some noise. Him and Jaden Ivey both. Like the Bulls also got Jaden Ivey. And for what it's worth, I really love their team moving forward. They're putting together a group of guys, a group of men that are just going to go out there and do some things. So we'll see what happens. But I would love to see him play. That's all I know. I would love to see Rob Dillingham play the game of basketball. All right. So who else do we have? So the Jonathan Kuminga trade. This is where bad reporting comes in because no one knew about what was going on there. But Jonathan Kuminga, he has a 51.8 true shooting percentage, which is decent considering how low he shoots at the three. I don't know why it says lemon pepper stepper here. But for the Hawks, I like what they're putting together. They have a good group of guys together. I'm not saying they could go run the board or anything like that. But they have a great group of guys. And the Warriors, they take a chance with Porzingis. I like this more so for next year because I think the theme of the Warriors will be one last attempt, one last try to really push forward and win one more championship for Steph and Draymond. And I think they got the right cast to do it with Jimmy Butler and Porzingis being outside there. Obviously, Butler's going to have to recover from a torn ACL. But when it comes to those two, and then they got random death. They got B Pods, Moses Moody. Obviously, they're going to have to attract a bunch of people over, which I think they can do that because they have, those veteran guys: Steph, Jimmy Butler, Porzingis, Draymond. That's a good group of people to be around. And what Porzingis comes in with, I get it. He didn't have the biggest roles, but he did win a championship with the Celtics. And Jimmy Butler was in the NBA Finals twice, where he carried a Miami Heat team there. Miami Heat team that's on the floor right now. But yes, sir. We're about 33 minutes in. How's everybody doing tonight? Friday night. Anthony Davis was actually upset that he got traded to the Wizards for some reason. But at the end of the day, I like what the Wizards did. They got Trae Young, they got Anthony Davis. I like their young players, Keyshawn George, and obviously, Trey Johnson. That's a great group of guys. If we go and we look at here, Wizards depth chart. So yeah, I mean, you look at this depth chart, like Trey Johnson, Keyshawn George, like when Trae Young comes in and he slides into that, when Anthony Davis comes in and he slides into that, all together, it's going to be Trae Young, Trey Johnson, Keyshawn George, Alex Sarr, and Anthony Davis, and that is insane because they're going to have a bench of Bilal, Champagnie, Jaden Hardy, Bub Carrington, Will Riley, D'Angelo Russell. Like they have guys. It's going to be interesting to see just how that shakes out for them. NBA Top Shot Celebration of Stars pack giveaway announcement in the Discord. We're having a nice giveaway. NBA Top Shot, as you guys know, sponsors the Collectin and Connectin journey. It's a very, very beautiful NFT NBA site. So make sure you guys are paying attention to that. Get in the Discord. There is a lot of giveaways. Hell yeah. God bless America. So we got, Chris Paul. Yeah, he's going somewhere. You don't know where he's going, but he's gonna go somewhere. I wonder what's the news on Chris Paul. Let's see. Is he really just gonna be a Raptor? It's a weird thing to trade for him. He's at we'll waive him here at the appropriate time, which sucks. I think he can help the Raptors, but obviously with this being Chris Paul's last year, you obviously don't want it to end on a sour note. Um, all right. So Kobe White, I mean, he was traded over to the Hornets, which is insane, man. Like, because this guy averages 20 points. You're adding a 20 points per game scorer to what is already turning out to be a monster of a lineup when you consider that they have LaMelo Ball, they got Connectin, they got Bridges, they like it just keep like Brandon Miller. It's a very nasty team, and you're just throwing Kobe White into that mix. It's impressive. He's only 25 too. Remember, Kobe White came into this league very young. So whatever team can really take advantage of him, which I don't understand how he didn't have a bigger role on the Bulls. But that just is what it is. Everyone dropping their Super Bowl predictions yet again. Yeah, go Seahawks. Seahawks Patriots. They do play in a couple of days. Happy Friday night. We are almost there to the Super Bowl. All right. Yes, sir. Thank you, Banana Mac. Awesome pod. Yes, definitely go subscribe to A Different Conversation if you guys are liking this. Subscribe to Collectin and Connectin. We are live almost every single day with a different streamer. We have a little bit of everything for you, really. I come on here and I talk sports. Other people talk sports. Other people talk collecting. I talk collecting. Remember, the collectible of this stream is comic books. So instead of dropping your Super Bowl predictions, why don't you guys go ahead and also drop your favorite comic book for those of you guys that are paying attention. So yes, Jared McCain, he was traded to the Thunder. Crazy trade how they just randomly just get Jared McCain because if you paid attention to basketball last year when he played, Jared McCain was a fantastic player. He probably would have won Rookie of the Year if he was playing all year long. But he ended up getting injured. That kind of derailed him. He came back this year. There's a lot of players in front of him. But the fact that they got him, the Thunder can get whoever they want whenever they want, which is impressive. But he is going to play a valuable role in that OKC offense. I think at first he's not going to get minutes, but he's going to grow. And with how easy everything's going to come to him, the rich got richer. I'm just going to say that. It's quite insane on what the 76ers are pulling there. But my trade of the deadline was this one. James Harden getting traded to the Cleveland Cavaliers. I love it for the Cavs. They needed to do something different, and I did not think this would be where the Cavaliers would land. They actually made two very solid trades. Obviously, you would like the Cleveland Cavaliers to get more for Darius Garland, considering what he was worth a couple years ago to what he was worth now. But they're pushing for a championship. They are on a clock. Donovan Mitchell, I believe he only has 1 to 2 more years left on his contract. Evan Mobley, he needs to continue to develop. Jared Allen, he won't be their center forever. So putting James Harden into this mix is, and I said it on the episode that's releasing tomorrow. What you're doing with this is you're giving a chance for Evan Mobley to get a shot wherever he wants on the floor. On top of that, Donovan Mitchell's not going to have to be the dominant ball handler anymore. James Harden and him could share those abilities. James Harden can catch Donovan Mitchell on a catch and shoot, cutting, anything. And then Jared Allen, James Harden loves his big centers. Jared Allen's going to be lit in the paint. And then they got guys like Tyson, Keon Ellis, Max Strus is still there. You got a lot of players on that team, and I think James Harden was the correct fit for what they're trying to do. And how much longer does the beard really have too? I think he has this year and next year, and I think that's the goal. I think with Donovan Mitchell being a free agent, I think after next season they're going to go all for it this year. They're going to go all for it next year, and I think James Harden's perfect because if you watch the documentary of behind the scenes of James Harden, the last couple of years, he's hungry. He's older. He's hungry. A lot of the stuff that's happened in the NBA wasn't his fault. Some of it was, obviously. But I think, this is my trade of the deadline right here, this James Harden trade. Like I said, I love what the Wizards did. absolutely love the outlook for the Washington Wizards because I didn't like a team getting Trae Young individually or Anthony Davis individually. But the fact that they got those two together while they have all these young players, while they have, at least one more max contract slot, and they have all their draft picks still because they didn't give a lot to get those two guys, I would watch out for the Washington Wizards. Trae Young looks like he's having a blast out there in Washington too. So make sure you guys keep the Washington Wizards on your radar. And yeah, AD, he does need to get healthy. Same could be said for Trae Young. But we'll see. I mean, the thing that I like is that Alexander Sarr is growing tremendously. And because he's growing tremendously, it's going to take a lot off of Anthony Davis. If Anthony Davis decides that he even wants to be a Wizard, apparently he's upset. So why do all these say muffled scream? I don't know. This is a weird website. But so Nikolai Vucevic, I like it. I don't know how he really integrates into the team, but I think I love the addition because all he does is add a presence in the paint, and that's what they need. They have a lot of guys that shoot outside shots. Their inside guys aren't the best, so I think this definitely fortifies their front court, as it says right here. I like it. When you can add a 16-9 guy who's also shooting 38% on about 5 attempts, like the dude is good. A lot of people are sleeping on him. He wants to play serious basketball. We knew that in Chicago. He's now going to the Boston Celtics, who are very serious about what they do. Even with Tatum out, you're adding a 35-year-old 15-season vet who's done nothing but play irrelevant basketball. Finally going to play some relevant basketball. So we'll see how that ends up going. But I personally like it. I'm not going to lie. I think it'll work out for Boston. Jaden Ivey, like I said, going to the Bulls. I love that addition so much because he's such an underrated player to me. He just hasn't had the best luck with injuries, but that's what happens. You're playing basketball. But at the end of the day, I like Jaden Ivey as a player. He came back from a big, injury, and he was expected to be a spark for the Pistons, but at the end of the day, he wasn't. And I think he can be that going down in the future. Thank you for the repost. Go Pats. I do. I think the Patriots, they're gonna win this. I said it earlier. I think the Patriots are absolutely taking the Super Bowl from the Seahawks. I'll reiterate that take one more time. I think that Sam Darnold is absolutely going to choke. Um, I I like the Patriots defense a little bit more than I like the Seahawks defense, and I like what they have been through. They've been through a lot as a team, especially with all this weird negativity that's going on in the Patriots organization with the snubbed Hall of Fame, Stephon Diggs, all of that. They're a gritty team. They're being led by one of, if not the best coach in the NBA, Mike Vrabel. And obviously the Seahawks, they got everything going on their side. But I think the X factor of this game, of the Super Bowl, is whether Sam Darnold shows up or doesn't show up. And what I mean by that is that with the Seahawks being 14-3, Sam Darnold should have been an MVP candidate, but he wasn't because, now hear me out, he wasn't an MVP candidate because of all the bad games that he did have this season. He had a handful of great games. He had a handful of bad games. I'm expecting him to have a terrible game, and he could prove me wrong. I could be Ian Crow. I could be wrong. But I think the Patriots are going to take this by a very slim margin because Sam Darnold falls flat on his face. That's just me. But the Seahawks could also, absolutely beat the crap out of them. That would be interesting. So Boston currently losing to the Heat. I mean, yeah, but Vucevic being his first game, with him, and let's look at these scores here. With him, being off the bench at his first game, they're down by 9. They were down by a lot earlier. He has only 3 points in 17 minutes. Once he integrates, I think he'll be fine. But I wouldn't pay too much attention on coming off the bench and coming in and doing too much there. But yeah, the Heat are winning still. We looked earlier, Norman was going off. Seems like Bam's gotten, some shots to fall. Andrew Wiggins, I think he's the dark horse for Miami. I really want to see what Tyler Hero can do in his return to this team. I hate it, man. Kel'el Ware is really getting buried. 7 minutes for Kel'el Ware. That is the one thing I'm not understanding about Spo is that he's really just not playing him at all. We're talking about a guy that has capability to really integrate in this offense, and I think it looks bad on Spo that he just cannot integrate him. He averages 11 and 9, 40% from three, 53%. I get it. He's a rookie. A second year player. There's some things that aren't going right out there for Ware from time to time, but I don't think not playing him is the answer. I think this is turning into a Kuminga situation with the Warriors, and I don't like it, man. I don't think the Heat are doing that part right because again, if you're only gonna play him for 7 minutes, why didn't you trade him for Ja Morant? Why in what world what are you keeping him for? To develop him, hoping that he's not gonna develop if he's not playing games. That it just doesn't work out that way. It's not gonna happen. So we'll see. What other games we got going on right now? Pistons still beating the brakes off of the New York Knicks. Dennis Jenkins doing his thing. The Timberwolves, they pulled a big lead going into half. We got some interesting games tonight. The Clippers, they're gonna have to win every game that they got. Do they have lineups out for this game yet? Let's see. Let's see. Do they have lineups for Clippers? Wonder what is going to happen with Darius Garland. Let's see here. Why is it so hard to find things these days? Where is their lineup? All right, so Garland's going to be out. Matherin, they're all out. Keegan Murray, I feel bad for Keegan Murray. Sabonis, they should have traded Sabonis. I don't know what the Sacramento Kings be doing. They're terrible, dog. The Sacramento Kings are absolutely awful. I don't know what they looked like they had the world ahead of them, and then they just kind of just blew it. They didn't make the right moves. When will Ja Morant hit the floor? When does he come back? Is he already back? I thought he got hurt again. He did get hurt again. Okay. All right, we'll see. I want all these players to play. It stinks not having, NBA players playing. Especially the stars. You always want to see the stars on the court. Let me see if I get one more boost. Let's see. All right. So, yeah, I mean, we covered basketball, we covered the trade deadline, we covered the Super Bowl a couple times. Trying to get this to an hour. What can we talk about in an hour? 1 second. How much? What more? Because I mean, with the NFL, it's tough because you just got two teams left. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's very hard to keep engaging conversation going when it comes to football. When there's only two teams left, basketball, there's not a lot going on. Not a lot of new players are playing yet. I hope we get that tomorrow. We got some interesting games here tomorrow all day. We love that. Starting at 3 p.m., ending at 10 p.m. It looks like tomorrow's going to be a fun day of basketball. They probably don't have nothing going on Super Bowl Sunday. Yeah, like 1, 2, 3, 4 games going on all before the Super Bowl. So, I mean, what a day, right? Like Knicks and Celtics open it up. And then after that, you got the Super Bowl. So not a bad Sunday to be alive there. Let's all make it to Sunday. And then we have with these NBA games here tomorrow. I mean, we got some bangers. I mean, the Wizards, they're gonna keep playing some good basketball. Especially, you got to think them young kids getting to be around Trey Young and Anthony Davis. They're going to learn a lot, and they're also going to be hyped for their future as well. Let's see what kind of ground they can make up this year. Rockets and Thunder, it's going to be fun to see. Mavericks and Spurs, Cooper Flag has been playing his tail off. His averages are up to about 26-4. Magic and Jazz. Now, the Jazz are another team. We actually didn't talk about the Jazz, so I guess we can fill some time here with Utah Jazz conversation. Let's look at their depth chart. Why not? So they're going to have Keontae George, Ace Bailey, Lowry, and Jaren Jackson Jr. with Cody Williams at shooting guard, or Vince Williams Jr. Sensabaugh off the bench, Nurkic off the bench, Filipowski, Isaiah Culley. Yeah, I mean, this team is cool. It's another cool team. I mean, you're not going to find a lot of teams in the NBA having, having no talent. I think we're in a stage right now where there's a lot of talented players in the NBA. As to why you're seeing guys like maybe, Claw Ware not play as much. But yeah. Lakers and Warriors are going to play tomorrow. That's a great game. By the way, I finally took time to watch a lot of Matas Buzelis's games for the Chicago Bulls, and I'm really loving his game. This year, 15 points per game. I don't think the 15, 5, and 2 do him any justice. He's been putting some moves on the court. I think they're going to be a fast team because you got to consider Giddey, Buzelis, and in general, Jaden Ivey. I think it's going to be a fast team. Bulls depth chart. Let's look at them. Why not? We got the time. Yeah, and then obviously, they got a Coro, Jalen Smith. They got good bench guys, Patrick Williams, all that, Colin Sexton. They got a bunch of fast guys there. Let's see. So make sure you guys don't forget Collectin and Connectin Discord. There's going to be some Top Shot giveaways. Make sure you guys jump on that. Make sure that you guys go ahead and subscribe to A Different Conversation over on my YouTube channel. We're planning on doing a whole lot over there. We do streams, we do shows, we do everything. Make sure you guys get on the train with that. Get on the train with Collectin and Connectin, because I promise you there is a lot of good stuff coming. I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. I won't talk your guys' ear off that much anymore. Hope you guys